You can get high in sex, you can get high in alcohol, you can get high in all kinds of drugs. I was high in hate and violence.
When Nicky Cruz showed up on the scene, people had every reason to run and hide. He wasn't just the leader of the renowned Mau Maus, the toughest gang in New York City. Nicky was an animal.
New York City was a jungle. The law of the jungle, you behave like an animal. An animal don't know the difference between right and wrong. An animal has to kill another animal for survival.
Did you ever kill somebody?
I cannot answer that question. But I can say that again, yes, we did it together.
Pain and violence weren't anything new to Nicky. He grew up with it in Puerto Rico, where his parents brutally abused him. Nicky's father used to throw him in a room with pigeons.
He put me there naked, and I used to scream, and the pigeon used to get scared, and they crashed me all over.
And Nicky's mother?
She hit me so much, and she knocked me out unconscious so many times over and over, that honestly to God, if I grab a knife and I put it, I didn't feel the pain anymore.
It wasn't just because they were cruel. They were possessed.
I know that I was planted into the wounds of a witch.
Seances, satanic worship, animal sacrifices. They were all a normal part of his parents' lives.
I saw my mother possessed by the devil many times. My mother had to eat everything when she was under the influence of Satan. So my dad, all those animal sacrifice, all the blood that was shared, and the smell that was of the possessed, and the spirit that used to manifest, it was scary.
So when he hit the streets of New York, Nicky was a hardened man, void of love, full of hate.
I want to do to others what my mother did to me. Period. I want to know how it feels to get hurt. And I used to feel good when I used to hurt some people.
But alone in his tiny apartment in the projects, he didn't feel good.
Privately, when I was alone, loneliness became like a seductive woman that crawled inside of my chest and eat me. And I was there twisting and fighting, and I felt so lost. The most that you can live in the way I used to live is 20 years. And I was 19 already. 1 year, I'll be dead.
Only two people saw the desperate condition of Nicky's heart. One was a psychologist.
He told me about 5 times. There's a dark side in your life that nobody can penetrate. Nicky, you're walking straight to jail, the electric chair and hell, and there's no hope.
The other was a pastor named David Wilkerson. He risked his life to tell Nicky there was hope.
Bye-bye. I heard this voice, God have the power to change your life, and I start cursing loud.
You come near me, I'll kill you.
I spit at his face and I hit him. And I told him, I don't believe in what you're saying, and you get out of here.
Nicky never expected what he heard Wilkerson say next.
You could cut me up into 1,000 pieces and lay them in the street. And every piece will still love you.
It did damage good in my brain. And in my heart, I began to question. And for 2 weeks, I could not sleep thinking about love.
Nicky and his gang showed up at one of Wilkerson's rallies, and one by one, they gave their lives to Christ. It was the crucifixion, Jesus' death on the cross, that grabbed Nicky.
I never heard it. And I fell for him.
When he died on that cross, he was a man like you. He had the same fears, the same feelings that you have.
The little boy began to think about where I was hurt. I was choked up with pain, and my eyes were fighting, and tears began to come down, and more tears, and I was fighting. And then I surrendered. And then I let Jesus hug me. And as I let my head rest on his chest, I said, okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me. And for the first time, I told somebody, I love you. And I told her, I love you, Jesus.
The love Nicky got in return radically changed his life.
And when I opened my eyes, I got a new heart. I have been born again. I'm a child of the Lord.
Nicky left the gang scene. He enrolled in Bible college and met Gloria. The two married and moved back to New York City, where they ran Teen Challenge, a program to help troubled teens. Since then, Nicky has raised 4 girls and traveled all over the world as an evangelist and head of Nicky Cruz Ministries.
I am the most happy human being because I have reached thousands or perhaps millions of people that have come to Jesus through my message. But the greatest success of my life, it was when I brought my mother to Jesus and my father and my brother.
Nicky chose to forgive his parents, and he asked them to forgive him. Nicky writes about this in his latest book, Soul Obsession.
When true forgiveness comes in and it comes out from you, your soul, forgive me, that dark cow will disappear, will be cracked down into pieces. And then you have access straight to the heart of Christ.
Once an animal filled with hate, today he's a lover of souls. Now if you met Nicky Cruz on the street, you probably wouldn't run from him. You'd run to him, and here's what he might say.
I say to you that you can turn all of this deep pain and this hurt and this deep rejection and do what I did. Give it to Christ, and you're gonna be more happy with your life.